Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people of all ages, welcome back to the Sticky Floors podcast. I am one of your hosts, CJ. I am joined by Mr. Will. This is our 100th episode. If I can figure out how to make a graphic with some confetti falling from the sky,
Yeah,
it's
yo,
gonna
I was about to say
it's gonna do it.
that.
And tonight we are talking about the 1972 classic, The Godfather. So if this is your first time listening to the Sticky Floors podcast, boy, you are in for a treat tonight because we got some real conversation about this one. If you have been with us for a while, then you know that we do different movies all the time. Some of them are in theaters. Some of them have not been in theaters for over 30, 40 years, like this one is. But
Mm.
we take all comers and we review all films. And we're really looking forward to this one tonight. Mr. Will, man, on his 100th birthday of Sticky Floors, man. How you doing tonight, sir?
Man, I'm doing real well. And to be technical, there's a couple of things I want to add. One, I messed up by not bringing my Will to Stilt number
Oh,
100 paper
yeah, right,
joint.
right, right, right. And you still got time. You got a marker. You can just
Yeah.
write it down. That's what he did. It wasn't that. It was,
I needed that joint. Two, CJ's right, man. I was hoping like to get some like balloons or something, you know what I mean, in the
son,
background, say number 100, whatever,
you know
whatever.
what? I'll drop the whole
Um,
show in the AI, and AI will do it for
yeah,
you, man.
yeah.
So do it like that.
Yeah, man. And last but not least, man, it is really dope that this movie is 53 years old, man, because it says something about the testament of and the staying power and the relevancy of this movie. So I'm really encouraged to get into that joint, man.
There it is, man. And so, look, without further ado, man, let's get into it. So, Mr. Will, what's the summary on The Godfather?
Yeah, man. So the Godfather, directed by Francis Ford Coppola and based on Mario Puzo's novel, is a masterful exploration of power, loyalty, and corruption within the Italian American mafia. The film centers on the Corleone family, led by the aging patriarch Vito Corleone, whose moral code and strategic mind govern a vast criminal empire built on both respect and fear. When an attempt on Vito's life shatters the family's stability, his reluctant son, Michael, initially determined to live outside the criminal world, gradually descends into the ruthless pragmatism of organized crime. Through this transformation, the film examines the seductive and destructive nature of power as love and duty blur into moral compromise. The storytelling intertwines political idealism, familial devotion, and tragic inevitability, crafting a portrait of Americana as a land where capitalism and crime mirror each other. The film's meticulous pacing, iconic performances, especially by Marlon Brando and Al Pacino,
Mm-hmm.
and they evoke cinematography that is so passionate by Gordon Willis, elevated beyond the crime genre into a Shakespearean family tragedy. Themes of inheritance, corruption, and identity underscore the narrative, revealing how Michael's evolution from an innocent outsider to a calculating Don symbolizes the cyclical entrapment of power. Ultimately, The Godfather endures as a testament to the timeless mediation on the cast and costs of loyalty and ambition, cementing its place as one of the greatest and most influential films in cinematic history.
There it is. There it is, man. Yeah, I heard the extra emphasis on that, man. You really put 100 toes down into that one, man. Yeah, this is I think we talk about so many films. The ones that have this much done on them already are this to me the hardest ones to review because it's
Mm,
like there's so much content on The Godfather. Like it's like I remember when we did The Matrix. Like it was just so many shows are you can't have a movie podcast that doesn't cover The Godfather. Like you just have to
mhm.
do it because as you said, it's such an influential film. There's so many things that are in films today that come from something that's in The Godfather, and you don't even realize it if you've never seen The Godfather. Like, I was talking to my daughter and telling her that we're doing The Godfather, and she was like, "Oh, so someone's gonna make you an offer you can't refuse, right?" She's never seen The Godfather. She's 13 years old. You know, what I mean? She's like, no, but everybody knows something about it because of how influential the film is.
Yeah, you know what's so dope is your James Cagney voice incorporated into
Yeah,
Godfather.
I'm trying to do Corleone, but it's not. It's more like James Cagney, right? Shout outs to both of them. My bad. No
Yes,
disrespect.
sir. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, man, to piggyback off of what you're saying, like certain phrases which have become a part of the American lexicon to the point where even the Italian American mafia has commented on how they've tried to incorporate things from the movie into their lifestyle, which is
It is
crazy.
crazy,
So like, you know, the whole he's like, hey, what's this? It's a fish wrapped in
right?
paper. He's like, oh, that's because Luca is sleeping with the
Sleeping with the
fishes.
fishes,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? And everybody got that joint. Or I think another powerful testament to this is the fact that like when you see a character who is like the boss or the don of all dons,
hmm
you don't think of Lucky Luciano, you don't think of any of these Meyer Lansky or any of these known criminals in that organization. You think of Marlon
yeah. Vito
Brando,
Corleone, yeah, yeah.
yeah, which is crazy to me.
So I didn't. So I know this is gonna. I'm gonna lose credit with the music with the movie watching community for this. I never watched The Godfather until 2020. I've
Yeah, when you
never.
said that,
I
I couldn't
watched it
believe it.
during COVID, right? Right. I know because I know you
Wow.
were saying you've seen it a bunch of times, right? And
Yeah, 20, at least 20
most of the
times,
people
man.
I know have seen it quite a few times, right? I never
Yeah.
saw this. I watched, there's nothing on during COVID, so you could watch stuff that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
old. And it was like I couldn't believe how many things I had seen that were
That,
referencing something in
yeah.
this that I didn't even know where that was that reference. So, like, for example, you're just
Mm.
talking about Vito Corleone, right? In the beginning of the
Mhm.
movie, he's sitting there in the chair talking to the guy stroking that cat. That's
Mhm.
Dr. Claw, man.
Yeah, that's
From
why I say it to you guys all the
that's
time.
Dr. Claw
Yeah.
from what's his name? Inspector Gadget.
Inspector
That's
Gadget.
exactly
Yeah.
what that vibe comes from. But
I told
I didn't even know that that's where that was coming from until
Yeah,
I
man.
saw that movie. So it's just like so many things that you see in it are from things that come from this. It's a foundational classic of cinema, and
Mhm.
you so many films borrow from it, even way outside the gangster genre.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think that's the appeal, that there are certain universal truths, certain universal likes, there's certain universal hates. You know, it's like The Godfather is a critique on capitalism.
Mhm.
Money makes the world go
Yeah,
round. Well, these dudes are talking about making their business
yeah,
legitimate. They're talking about expanding
yeah,
their empire. We've seen this in history, man. Like this is a part of who people
yeah,
are. The need to conquer, to rebuild, destroy, love, hate, jealousy, admiration. When they talk about making an offer you can't
right.
refuse, these guys originally talk about how they present themselves as legitimate
Mhm.
businessmen making a fair
Yeah,
offer. And then their resort is not a counter offer. It's saying, like, no, I'm going to double down, except I'm going to kill you if you don't
yeah,
say yes.
yeah, yeah, and the movie, I mean, the other thing is the movie takes time to develop all of the
Mhm.
storylines. So
Yeah.
even, the way that it starts with the guy saying, "I believe in America," and then like he's telling a whole
Hmm.
story about his daughter and what happened to her and the two guys. It just the film gives it all time to just evolve. Like the wedding scene is 30 minutes. That part of the movie is like 30 minutes long because they just spend so much time there. They spend so much time with the pomp and the celebration of that. So they establish a family there. But then to your point, there's all this business stuff that's happening, right? And they build up the lore of The Godfather while the movie is happening, which I think some of the best movies in the world, they bring you into their world and then they show you that world has a certain organization to it. So, like if you're watching John Wick, John Wick world has all those gold coins, right?
Mm.
So it's like you're kind of brought into the idea of, oh, okay, there's like a saying, I have served and I will be of service, like all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
In this movie, from the very beginning, you find out the reason why all these people are going to Vito is because the Don cannot refuse a request on the wedding day of his daughter,
Daughter.
right?
Daughter.
So it's like
Mhm.
right away, like, oh, okay, cool. There's like a system in place, and it like allows you to just embed yourself in it.
And it's not lost upon me, as most other individuals who have witnessed this movie, watched this movie, indulged in this movie. They open with the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it seem like he's being generous, but he flips it on him and he's like, yo, in all these years,
Yeah,
in particular with the
with the
funeral,
funeral director. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's like, the mortician, he's like, you've never come to me in friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I am the godfather to your child.
Yeah.
Our wives are best friends, but yeah, you never come to holler at me like, yo, come to my house. You never invited me
Yeah.
over to eat dinner, none of that. Now you want a favor from me, and I can't refuse it. So the way that they're very cognizant of the rules and how they're able to put it back on these people that are asking them, like, any other time you could have hit me up. You could have let me answer honestly and truthfully without being beholden to this rule. Now you come to me when you know I can't tell you no.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna do you the favor, but I'm gonna do it on my time and under my
Yeah.
conditions. I love how that is incorporated. The wedding reminds me of the 57 Appalachian meeting in which you see all these guys taking pictures, and it's the FBI
Oh yeah,
at
right.
the
That's an
57.
FBI is out there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Taking pictures of the license
and
plates. Yep.
that in 57, that was the only time the mafia got together. So when you see what you call it, ripping the photo
Sunny,
out of
sunny.
the
Yeah.
you see it, yeah, ripping the photo out of that, and you see the other mafia boss, the names escape me
Yeah.
right now, but the gist is like they also know of the cat and mouse joint, and Sonny's real quick to flip off some bread to him
Yeah.
too,
So you
like,
can't say
yeah,
I did
yeah,
destroyed
can't
government
say,
property.
yeah,
Right. Can't say I did
yeah,
that.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was an accident and I compensated
Mm-hmm.
you. You know what I mean? Like, and there's only eyewitness testimony, and I got my guys right here, so you know how this works. Like, just take the money and run.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things also that come to the forefront that like evokes that same thing is like when Michael, and when they present Sonny, and when they present what's his brother's
Fredo.
name? Fredo. They all are very distinct
Yes.
as far as who they are.
Yes.
Like, they're none of them are exactly the same. They're not. It's not a cookie cutter call. And how many families do we know are like that, where everyone is trying to be their own individual, very distinctive in the way they talk,
Yeah.
walk, and
Yeah.
dress?
Well, I mean, I think that's part of the allure of the film is that
Hmm.
it sets up this sort of family dynamic
Yeah.
where I think if everybody's a part of a family. So even that is a connection, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's got like the hot-headed brother, everybody's got, the brother who's cute and thinks he's a ladies' man. Everybody's
Hmm.
got the brother that's like a black sheep of the family. You might be the black sheep in your family. You know what I mean? Like, that everybody's got like the dad who wants you to be what they are. You don't want to be
Yeah.
what they do. Maybe your dad owned like a hardware store in the neighborhood, and he's like,
Hmm.
hey, one day you can have this too,
You have the
right? And
business.
you're
Yep.
like, no, I want to be like a circus clown, like or something like that. And that tension around that, and even a great one of the things, like, I haven't watched this movie so many times, but this time doing it for the show, I just picked up on so many details. Even the fact that Vito wouldn't do the family picture until Michael came and
Was
got
there.
in the picture is just like that constant kind of reminder of the idea of like this: we have to be close, we have to stick together,
Hmm.
especially when you realize all the threats that are out there trying to hurt the Corleones.
That's another thing too. This sense of family. CJ and I were talking about this in the pre-production meeting, and there does. I would agree that there does seem to be this sense that family was a little bit closer years ago than they are in comparison to now. That there was a sense of loyalty and even pride. My maternal grandmother, used to tell me all the time that like her best friends were her cousins.
Yes, my mom say the
So
same thing. Yep, yep,
like you knew who your family
yep.
was. You could trace your roots. You may not
How
have
about
been
that?
able to go only so far, but it was far enough for you to be like, nah, we've been here a minute. We got a good chunk of change. We have a history that is very viable and tangible. And I'd be remiss, sidebar, if I didn't offer a shout out, condolences, recognition to Diane
Yep,
Keaton, who just recently
yep.
passed, who played Kay in this. So rest in paradise for her. And also, not too long ago, preceding her was James Caan,
Mhm.
who played Sonny in this.
Fantastic in this,
Um,
man.
yeah, so and that's no disrespect to all the other individuals in this who have now
Mhm.
since transitioned. Um, which reminds me, like, when watching this every time, and I see Abe Vigoda, I don't think, oh, that's Sal Tessio. No, I think that's Phil Fish from
Yeah,
Barney
yeah, yeah,
Miller.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like, I
yes,
know I'm dating myself,
yeah.
but I'm just
No, I
like,
know what you got.
yo,
Yeah, right,
I'm like, oh, that's such and such. You know what I mean? So I don't even think I'm sitting there like, why is Rocky's wife getting beat up,
right,
man? Like
right,
I'm not sitting there thinking
right.
like, oh, this is a character actor playing a role in such and such. My mind just automatically goes to somewhere else, and the tie-ins and all that.
Yeah.
But shout out to all those brilliant actors and actresses who really came to life, which leads me, and this is not a hot take, to say this. This is one of the only movies I know where I can legitimately say every actor should have won an award in this movie.
All
I
of them.
mean, every single one, because the performances are so like in your face,
They're good.
intense,
Yeah.
raw, gritty. I mean, it stands the test of time. Of course, this is not in 3D or laser
Mhm.
or any of 4D or none of that. But the grittiness and the texture, because it's a period
Yeah.
piece, doesn't feel like a period piece. It doesn't feel like this was in the
Well,
70s.
it's such an endearing story. It's an enduring
Yeah.
story, and the characters are very enduring because, as you said, number one, the actors and actresses are doing a fantastic job, and then
Mm-hmm.
the story allows them to kind of grow and evolve in a way that where they are at the end of the film, the things that people do and say make sense with where you saw them from the beginning. And Michael's character is like on the anti-hero's journey, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the other characters around him, they don't really step out of who they are. You can get Fredo being in a Vegas, nailing cocktail waitresses two at a time, because when you first meet Fredo,
Mo Green's line
he's
to
drunk at the
Alfredo.
wedding and looks like he's about to kiss. He looks like he's about to
Michael.
kiss Kay in the mouth, right in front of Michael, right? So you
Yeah.
get that. Like Sonny is like a reckless dude who's messing with a woman at his sister's wife in his house at his sister's wedding while his wife is there in his dad's house. Like he's consistently reckless throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to John
Right.
Cazin.
James Caan, right?
Rest in peace.
Right. And
Yeah.
then like my man, Tom is consistently always thinking about what's business. He
Yeah.
doesn't get emotional. Even when he tells Sonny, even your dad being shot was business. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
personal. Like that is just an amazing thing. And that the characters just stay in their zone every scene throughout it. And I think it's because everybody knows 3 hour movie, you're going to get your time to really be in the mix of your character.
Yo, shout out to Robert Duvall in that joint too, man. And again, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, oh, that's Gunny from Jack Reacher.
Right.
What's he doing with
Right.
hair? You know what I'm saying?
What's he doing there?
I'm just sitting there thinking about all the other countless roles that he has been
Yeah.
in. And like I just can't help but like reminisce and think of the times in which I was watching this show with my dad
Mm-hmm.
or watching this with my mom and the conversations that would come up after watching The
Yeah.
Godfather, or how like Mario Puzo was going on his book tour on Oprah one time, and I'm thinking about the Godfather trilogies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie does a lot of things just from a sentimental aspect, but then on the flip side, it's like Vito's sitting here literally humanizing corruption.
Mm.
I mean, like this family is really talking about things like fantasizing and romanticizing about power and structures, and it pretends to condemn these acts a la the baptism scene. But then, they literally are doing these things. They're part of the ills of society.
Yeah.
Yet they think that everything that like the way that what's the capo's name? The fat dude. He goes home to his wife who blasted what you call it with the
Are you
shotgun.
talking Luca
Uh,
Brasi?
yeah, no. Oh man, what's my man's name? Uh, the guy when they opens the elevator on the baptism scene and he pulls out the
Oh
shotgun
yeah,
and
yeah,
he
I know.
and it always shows.
I'll find
Um,
a way to talk.
I'm messing up the names, but the point is, like he goes home to his wife and his kids in his little house,
Clemenza.
and they're chilling.
You're talking about
Clemenza, and
Clemenza, yeah.
yeah, and all of a sudden, by day he's a loving family man, and by night he's a murderer and he's a killer and he's doing all these things.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm dumbfounded by it, the way that they're able to just brush that off.
Yeah.
How they can have a wife, a la in the case of Sonny, but then have a bunch of mistresses that they're keep them in a hotel or in an apartment building, whatever have you. How can they sit here and have and be a CEO of an olive oil company, and then all of a sudden talking about, yeah, we're gonna flip this into some drugs, and then we'll flip it into a casino. For those that don't know, they end up they create this thing of the immobilarity or something like that in Rome, and they're trying to become legitimate in the third Godfather scene, but whatever.
So I got to introduce. I'm gonna drop another thing. I've never watched Godfather 3. I've
Wow.
never watched it, and the reason why is because after I saw the first one, I watched the second one. I asked a good friend of ours, should I watch the third one? He was like,
And he tells you
don't
no.
do it.
Yeah, he tells you no.
Everyone who I've ever talked to about it has either said, don't watch it, or
Mm-hmm.
it's not good. And that's like no disrespect to the people that did it. That was just the vibe that I was on. So I've never actually seen it. So when you just
Oh no,
referenced the immobilarity and all that, I have no idea
Raekwon.
what that
Yeah.
right, except for the fact that it's the name of that Raekwon seed. It's album. But like I don't know. And even then, there's just so many reference points to so many things. If you grew up in the 1990s and you listened to hip hop music, it was Godfather references all
Mm-hmm.
through it. Like I was saying to you earlier, I
I
remember
mean, there's a rapper named Godfather Part 3 who's a part of Mobb Deep.
right,
I want you to understand that.
right, Godfather
Godfather
Part 3.
Part 3
Yeah.
is his name.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like there were just so many parts in it. I didn't even know that those were connecting parts. When
Yeah.
Jay-Z has that song with Drake and he's talking about like, you Barzini me, watch for the
Mm-hmm.
traitors. I never knew what that reference was. I knew it was
Yeah.
to a gangster film. I didn't know it was The Godfather.
That film,
Right.
yeah. Which is crazy. The evolution of seeing Al Pacino and then later on seeing Andy Garcia in Godfather 3, it makes sense. Seeing Al Pacino, seeing Robert De
Mhm.
Niro in Godfather Part
Yeah.
2, it makes
Yeah.
sense. You know what I'm saying? So like having those actors respectively in those films, it just seems like, oh yeah, it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
This
You
is who
know,
should
this
cast in these movies. Yeah.
yeah, this is who, yeah, they should be
Yeah.
there. So to see Talia Shire, and like I said, oh, that's Rocky's wife, that's
Yeah.
Adrian, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, that's Michael's little sister. Like, is now it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and this preceded, but at the time you're not thinking that.
Yeah. Yeah. And and you said something about like the ideas of like what is the family actually in? The family is actually a part of a crime family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is the corruption part. And I think one of the things that I think endears people to the movie is the idea of the characters wrestling with, can I maintain a family while I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
this corruption? Can I truly be about loyalty and I do this and I live this life? Can I really be about this idea of integrity when I live this life? Can I really show up in these rituals that have these very moral and ethical points to
Yeah,
them,
dilemmas.
right?
Yeah.
While I'm still doing that, like you said at the end, Michael's sitting there, they're asking him, "Have you renounced Satan?" And he's like, "Yeah." Meanwhile, he got
Yeah.
guns on. He got five
He
people
got
getting
guns drawn
killed
on.
at the same
Yeah.
time. Like that real crisis of consciousness and the way that the Michael character by the end really just accepts, yeah, I am this dude. Yeah, I really have become this thing that I said that I would not become.
Well, the thing that I love to juxtapose with the Michael character is the unknown. Like when they talk about Luca Brasi,
Mhm.
Vito's best hitman, according to
Yep.
Nas, like you're sitting there and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's Lenny Montana, the wrestler.
Hmm. That's why
Leonardo
he's so big. Yeah.
Passaffaro. Yeah, like that dude. Oh, he was a wrestler, and that's why. And you would never know that though.
Hmm.
But with that character, he's sitting there and he's literally going line by line to where Kay notices and says,
Yeah.
Michael,
Yeah.
why is that man over there
Right.
talking to himself? Like she's so naive that she thinks that, oh, he's just merely crazy
Hmm.
or like there's something disturbing about him. And she's like, oh, he's coming over here. And then no surprise, surprise, it's his brother, who comes up behind him and is like, hey, when'd you get here?
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. But the fact that they take their oath to that degree, or at least in Luca's case, where even later on it's like, oh, something happened to Vito. Yeah, we're all going to chill. We're going to
But
fall
Luca
back.
won't.
But what about Luca? Yeah, Luca won't. And the fact that he sits there and he's like, he didn't think that he would be invited. And he's pulling out the thing slowly. Like you would think that buildup was he was going to kill him. But no, he's sitting there like he's
Yeah,
nervous. It's almost to the point where it's like he's asking him out on a
yeah,
date where
yeah,
the butterflies in his
yeah,
stomach, these hands are sweaty, whatever. But he's like, I really want to stress to you the
yeah,
importance that I'm really grateful to be here. And not in those
yeah.
words, but some, and it's just powerful to me where you can compare and contrast that Michael character where he's very like, very meticulous in how he goes about things, how he's very deliberate, how he's very, it's a slow burn, as you would say,
Mhm.
where he has, you know, a list of things that he prioritizes and he'll get to them in due
Yeah.
time. Whereas Luca is fumbling over the words
Mhm.
and where he's nervous and where he is, but when it's game time, oh, it's a
Yeah, he's
wrap,
ready to go.
you
He's
know?
ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vito, I mean, that scene also builds up the, I hate to use the word like prestige, but the prestige of the position that Vito
Yeah, of
holds.
Don.
You know, he's the
Yeah.
Don, he's the head of the family. For the people in the family, and it, not like maybe the his immediate relatives, but certainly for those other people that become under the Corleone family, he is the Godfather, like God and the Father, like
Which is
two
crazy.
things that both revere this sense of respect, high respect, and he's got that title, and it's like it is religious for him to be in the room in that space with that person because of the position that he holds, and that I won't say I would say like the regality, for lack of a better term, that Vito has throughout the movie is distinct to him. Even Michael's character never has that, at least in this movie. Maybe in later ones does, but in this one he doesn't have it. He's got the sort of the up and coming kind of thing where he's got to earn the respect. But what he's trying to earn, Vito has already had for decades now. And that's the reason why the cast and the characters defer to him in the way that they do.
I would argue, though, that Michael's character in the second one is more about isolationism and about being strategic and being single-minded in your
Mhm.
focus. Whereas with Vito, his is more his ability to delegate when need be, diplomacy in the next vein, and then also be able to be very deliberate with the tax and with the violence.
Mhm.
Like it's business with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's an emphasis on that. You know, they talk about family, but it's the very family that's destroying itself from the inside in. Um, you know, you have these individuals who are blood related in often cases where they're killing each other, or they have a long-standing relationship for one another because they're from Italy and from certain towns that are next door to each other. Yet they're over here talking about vendettas, as when Michael was in Corleone and the guys,
Mhm.
his
Yeah.
bodyguards, were walking
Gone.
down, telling him, he's like, "Where's all the men? Oh, they're gone." You know, and
V
at the same
Vendettas, yeah. Yep.
Yes. And then that's a perfect segue to what it means to be a man, masculinity and femininity. So for me, I know I see these men and they're very proud of who they are and where they come from. And their last names are originated from the towns that they're from. You see that they are protectors and providers in their own way. Yet I am not one that endorses the means by which they go about their business. You know, um, you have Carlo who's supposed to be marrying into someone. Now you would think you want to be the best husband you want to
Yeah,
be. No, this
Carlo's a
man,
whole jerk. He's a
this
he's a
dude,
whole jerk. he's a
this dude is a
yeah,
brutalizer, man. He's a womanizer. He's an
he
abuser.
earned that.
Yeah,
He earned that death, man.
yeah. And at the same token, Sonny's no better.
Mhm.
Sonny also is a womanizer.
Yes.
This guy is cheating on his wife blatantly.
Mhm.
He doesn't even try to hide it. Like at least show some decorum. No. And I love though how, and you of all people love this, I would think too. I don't like to speak for you, but his father admonishes him when he says, "Yo, a man is not a man if he doesn't take care of his
Yeah.
family." I'm obviously
Yeah.
paraphrasing, but the focus is that these individuals have to be the heads of their homes. They have to be individuals who garner respect. So when Vito says to Michael, "Hey, do you love your kids? How's your kids? How's your wife? How's your
Yeah.
family?" You
It's
know,
sincere questions too. It's sincere.
yes,
He sincerely cares about it.
no, no question. This is not some like, oh, hey, how you doing? And keeping it moving, just some
Yeah.
colloquialism that you say to one another in passing. No, he really means that.
Yeah. And like you're saying, I mean that there's so many lines about the idea of how important the family is, right? If a
Yes.
man doesn't spend time with his family, then he's not a real man.
Never speak
Right.
outside of the
Never speak
family.
outside
No
of the
speak
family.
family
Right.
business.
Don't talk about family business to anyone. So there is like this really insular way that I
Yes.
think people like I said, everybody comes from a family. Like you want
Hmm.
to know that the people that you're in your family with are the ones that you can count on and trust the most. But like in real life, that's not the case, right? In real life,
No.
your family will do you in just as much as everyone
Well,
else. Like that's
what's the saying? Like you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family.
listen.
Your family is not necessarily
Right.
familiar.
And that's why I think the movie resonates. And then as you were saying, the journey that Michael goes on is an ideological transformation for him. And it's also a transformation that you see like in the sense of the business. Because
Hmm.
in the beginning, like you don't really know all that the Corleones are into, right? You kind of get a little bit idea around the olive oil part, and that happens when he goes to Corleone. But then you start to see like, oh, there's this whole Vegas thing, and like,
Yeah.
oh, there's these other parts of the business that they're trying to get into, and the fact that Vito wanted Michael to be a senator, like he
Yeah.
wanted
A
him to
lawyer,
be
a
like a
doctor,
real
a governor.
a legitimate businessman, right? And the idea
Hmm.
that it's just so important to them to like get out of the situation. And that's
Hmm.
also like one of the great gangster movie tenets. Everybody in every gangster movie is
When you get legit.
trying to get out of it, right? Because everybody knows, look, like go set in power. There's no old drug dealers. There
No.
isn't. Like nobody gets old in this business, in this line of work. Like eventually somebody tries to take you out.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me
Pull me
back
back
in.
in, man. There it is. All right. So let's get into the cake, man. What you got on your cake, sir?
Well, this is going to sound like it's not, but it really is. If this movie was made today, there would be so much of an
I can
accusation that
agree.
it
Yeah.
glorifies toxic
Yeah.
masculinity or ethnic stereotypes. But this movie is so vital to even you once told me that the system is big enough to create its own enemies. And this
Fund its
is
own opposition. Yeah.
yeah, and this is the perfect vehicle for that because without that discourse, without the ability to recognize the differences in each other, how could you say that you really and truly celebrate and appreciate diversity? How could you say in this case that you love Italian cuisine, for example, if you haven't been exposed to the so-called stereotypes? Because it should cause you to be inquisitive, to want to seek that out and to see, oh, why is that? Why do they do that? I have a friend, a colleague who makes very authentic Italian wine.
Oh, he makes it
Makes
himself. Okay.
yeah, and from scratch makes
Mhm.
linguine and other pastas. Well, if I didn't know this person, I wouldn't have access to that. I wouldn't want to understand, well, what's the process like and how did you get into that?
Mhm.
And knowing his family and where they come from and that side of things, like I would be missing out on some of my favorite dishes. I love chicken parmesan. I love pizza. I love linguine. I love the different celebratory aspects of just that culture.
Yeah.
And I think this movie allows to be a vehicle for that because we can talk about that and he'll sit there and be like, man, that's not true, that's not what we do, we do this and like it's a great talking point.
Yeah, and if I can just add on to that, the movie does a
Yeah.
great job of leaning into the culture, the Italian
Hmm.
culture, whether it's the songs that are sung at a wedding or whether it's like
Mm.
even the idea of like why the christening is such a valuable and important
Yeah.
thing that you do, or the
Hmm.
idea of in a tough situation you can go to your homeland, and in your
Hmm.
homeland you can be safe and you can walk where your ancestors literally walked, and the idea of like, as you said, being able to trace your family roots all the way back to a
Hmm.
whole nother country, just the value of knowing where you came from and now where you are today, where your family has gotten to, and as Vito was saying to Michael, where he wants the family to ultimately get to and
Oh
go.
yeah, Bigetsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely love those things too. But I also there's a lot of little stuff too that I like. For example, the music. I
Yeah.
love, like I was telling CJ in the beginning
Yeah.
of the pre-production meeting, I love the bold let even if you couldn't read, but that graphic that
Hmm.
comes in the black
Yeah.
background with the music
Mhm.
and everything, like that joint is just so dope to me. Like it words can't convey just how like emotionally charged it gets me with respect to that. And then of course, the things like the cast.
Yeah.
Like I could go on and on and on about all of the performances and how it's like each one complements, but yet it outdoes. And then it rises the expectations and it raises everyone's bar to being like, yo, we got to go here. We got to take it further. Even the individuals who only have small lines, like Luca Brasi isn't in the movie that
Yeah. But
long.
you remember
But
him.
yeah, you know who he is. You remember his
Yeah.
name. You remember certain things like Clemenza or whatever have you. You remember
Yeah.
like, hey, Sonny getting shot up at the toll booth and getting set up. Like there's certain things that are just so cemented in your brain because of this movie, man. I'll let you take rest, man.
No,
This is
it's
dope.
true, man. I mean, like I saw Simpsons episodes where they had like somebody put a horse head in the bed. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know what that was from. Right, that was from this, right? And then you
Like,
said,
yeah.
"Yo, Luca Bra," and there's like I said, there's so many channels that have talked so much about The Godfather, right? And I'm actually gonna put into the bio one of those things that I saw, like it's called Heavy Spoilers, which did like this really long thing that
Mm,
broke it down. But one of the things that he referenced, which I never really thought about was true, is when Luca gets choked out. Like, remember when he got to
mm,
stab him in the hand and choke him?
mm. You stabbed him in the
It
hand.
looks like Jabba the Hutt getting choked out in
Yes.
Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
It does. And I was like, yo, that's right alongside of that. But even like you said, when Sonny getting shot inside of his car and everything, that reminds me of Denzel Washington getting shot at the end of Training Day. Black
Hey,
car, all the
yo.
guys show up, shoot up the whole car. Same
Yeah.
team. You know,
Yeah.
like there's like just so many reference points like that. Just like
Oh, let me just
please do.
before we run out of
Please do.
time, even the fake Frank Sinatra dude in
Yes,
there
yeah,
who is
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah. Hmm.
I would be remiss if I didn't remember that where he's like, be a man, that's what you can do,
Yeah.
stop acting,
Yeah.
and then you see Sonny in the
Laughing.
background laughing and everything. Like just those things in itself are canonized because he's like, yo, this rule would take me to the top, and everybody knows it. So when you talk about the horse
Yeah.
head, that's it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And apparently that was like that scene wasn't supposed to go that way.
Think
And
about
Brando
that.
slapped the guy. He didn't know what he was
Yeah,
slapping, so that's why they were laughing. It's just yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
just when you get a mix of the right talent, the right story, the right
Johnny
director, yeah,
Fontaine.
right. It just becomes that way. And apparently, what's his name? You were saying uh uh the singer that you just said isn't
Yeah, Johnny
no,
Fontaine.
but the real life person. I just
Oh, Frank Sinatra.
hated that this movie like kind of made it
Because he
seem
knew,
like
yeah.
he
Because
was
it was
connected to the
too close
mob.
to
Right.
home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I would
Because he was connected to the mob. I was sitting here like, hey,
allegedly.
I'm offended. Oh,
Allegedly.
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 Sorry, I don't want the estate of Frank Sinatra to come after me.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
right, right. When you put the things up, it looks like you don't mean it when you're saying it. This is on YouTube, by the way. So please
Oh,
like
I'm
and
sorry.
subscribe because
Allegedly.
we're
In all
right.
sincerity, we apologize.
Anyways, yo, all right. So the things that I liked, all right, a couple scenes when Michael proposes killing the cop, and he says like we can like create stories
We
about how
because we
he was there.
have influence
Yeah,
in the news and
yeah.
the posters
And you see Tom's little face is like, huh, that really might work. Like that's like the beginning of you
because
kind
it's a
of
dirty
seeing,
cop
yeah,
is corrupt. Yeah.
yeah. It's like the beginning of you seeing like Michael's transformation. So I love that scene.
Hmm.
I also love the scene at the end where Michael and Vito are talking, and Vito really just says like all the stuff that he wishes for Mike. Like he's
Yeah.
trying to like give him, and it's like as you get older and you have these conversations with your parents, if you're blessed enough to
Mm,
have your parents when you're older, your conversations kind of go like that with them. You start
yeah.
talking about one thing, you go back to something, then you talk about something else, and you come back to the same thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Vito even apologizes, like, I'm
Yeah. I'm
sorry to
sorry.
keep coming back to this. He's like, Pop, it's okay. Because that's what we do. I do that now. Like, it's like, yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep talking about it. But it's such a real scene, and and then for him to die like 3 minutes after that scene.
Yeah.
It's just it's a powerful thing, man. But
Even though it's not really 3 minutes, it's supposed to be years
yeah,
later.
but it like and for the
Yeah, but
yeah, it
yeah.
happens like right the next day. It seemed like he just walked
Mhm.
away and he's like, "Hey, bring your son out here," and then he died in front of the I'm like, "Yikes!" Like, God, that was cold, right?
Oh.
But yeah, you're right. So you got that part. But the one thing that I want to just highlight just is one scene because it's like it's probably my favorite scene in the whole movie when Michael goes out to Vegas and he meets with Mo
Oh,
Green and Fredo.
yeah.
And Fredo, like Mo Green is talking crazy to Michael. And Michael's sitting
I
there the
don't
whole time.
understand that.
And Michael's like, he's like, this is like he's combed his hair back and everything. He's
Yeah.
slick, everything, right? And it's like he's not moved at all by what Mo Green is saying. And
Mm-mm.
when he goes and he sits down, and Fredo's like, "Hey, well, no, wait, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna work it out with him, right?"
Mm.
And he says, and like Michael tells him, "Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you,
Love you.
but don't ever take sides against the family." Now after I saw this movie in 2020, right, maybe a year or two later, I went to this party for one of my mentors. One of his friends was there. We talked about The Godfather for about 2 hours during the party,
Wow.
right? We talked about that scene for about 2 hours in that because we were just having a great time. That brother, his name is Courtney Wilkerson. Courtney Wilkerson passed away a couple weeks ago. And
Condolences.
every time I think about this movie and when I watch that scene, I always think about him. So I wanted to just shout out to him, to his
Yeah,
memory,
definitely shout out.
solid brother. We just had some really great, funny times. And
Salute.
every time I think about that scene, we literally talk. The whole party, we just walking around each other saying that same line back and forth because of just how
That's
much it
dope.
stuck out. So that's my cake, man.
Yo, think about that though, man. How it brought two different people together, bonding over a shared experience. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's the power of movies.
Yeah,
That's the power of this
power of
movie.
good cinema, no doubt. No,
But at the same token, there are some things in this flick
hit
that
it.
I would
Things you
be
didn't
remiss
like,
that
hit
I
it.
wasn't messing with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I definitely wasn't feeling Sonny's death. Like, it had to happen. I get it, and the fact that I don't like it is a testament to that
No
movie,
doubt.
to that scene, to those actors. But that dude got shot up like Swiss
He
cheese, all because
did.
he was impulsive.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, come on, fam, really?
Yeah. I hated
Really?
seeing Sonny get killed too, man. I didn't
I
like
don't
that.
like seeing James Caan getting shot, man.
I didn't
Like,
like
I
it.
like
I didn't
James
yeah.
Caan.
I like the character too, but yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, and I like the character. He would have been a great enforcer, even a great capo. But the leader, the head, the Don,
Yeah.
no. I'm sorry. He's the older brother, whatever. I get it. Another thing I didn't like we mentioned, Carlo's a jerk,
Oh,
man.
he earned
I'd
that.
use
He
stronger
earned that
terms.
death. He did. He did.
He earned that joint. Yeah, he should wear that, man. But at the same token, it's not realistic, yo. I'm sorry. I'm marrying the Don's only daughter.
Hmm.
I'm not ever raising a hand to her. If
It did
anything,
seem kind of like that was like you're playing death, like you're playing with death
you playing a dangerous
all the
game,
time. Yeah.
homeboy.
Yeah.
Yo, Keith Murray has this song. It's called "The Danger Zone," and the chorus is, "Now, homeboy, you in the danger zone."
Hmm.
Big L has a joint too called "The Danger Zone," and I keep thinking about that every time I see this dude talking about, "Yeah, you little prissy girl," and this, that, and the third, and you're whiny, and he's
Yeah.
taking off his belt to
I
beat
know.
a grown
It was
woman.
wild. It was wild, man. Carlo was one of the characters that you're like, I can't wait for them to kill this
I
dude.
can't wait for this. Yeah,
Okay, we're like, normally you're like, let him live. Him,
mm-mm,
Carlo,
not him.
he earns it. Carlo,
He
Carlo
earned.
earns that.
I just wanted it to be Michael and his brothers to get in on
Yeah,
it. Like, I wanted them to be
yeah,
taking turns on whooping his,
yeah,
you know what,
yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, I'm just not feeling the racism.
Why would
I
you?
like the
Why
fact
would you?
I'm
If you were like, hey, I'm cool with the racism,
I'm cool with
that would
that.
be weird, right?
Yeah, but I mean, in all sincerity, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, all right, I can appreciate that there are conversations
Mm-hmm.
that every group, whatever your group is,
Mm-hmm.
that you have, that you just necessarily wouldn't want put on Front Street. So it was very brave in '72 for them to put that
Yeah,
there. All right, cool.
yeah,
But at the same token, to be like, yeah, we could do all this other stuff. It's cool. We can prostitute women, gambling, all this other stuff. But the drugs, nah. But you know what? We'll make an exception. We'll give it to all melanated
Yeah.
people. And they don't use that
Yeah.
word
They
either.
don't. Right. Yeah. That was always one of the things that when I never saw the film, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of folks always critiqued that part. So it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense, right? And like you said, even to put it in the movie is intentional because they don't. That
Yeah.
scene doesn't have to be there,
No,
and they
no.
didn't have to say it, but it was important for Puzo and for Coppola to
Mm-hmm.
put that in and to make sure that they say it. And I think for us as Black people, of course, it resonates because we did see all the drugs in our community.
Yeah.
We saw it, right? So why wouldn't we think about a film like that and have a problem with it? Because for us, it's like that was the truth. So yeah, I get it. I dig it. I dig it. Yeah,
And the fact that most mafia figures from Frank Lucas all the way to Nicky Barnes and everyone in between, they had to go through the pipeline of the
Italians. Yeah.
Italians.
Well, that's
So
a big storyline in Godfather Harlem right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, it's not as if we could, close our eyes and act as if it didn't exist. Like this is something that historically
yeah.
happened.
There it is. Yeah, I agree with that on the hate side. The only thing I'm gonna add is Salazzo. So the Salazzo character, it just seems like he kind of comes out of nowhere and he's like this menace to the whole thing. I wish I would
Mm,
have spent a little bit more time with Salazzo. So I would have got a chance to know him a little bit more. You meet him in the meeting and
yeah.
then like all of a sudden he becomes like this sort of criminal mastermind. He's always there when somebody in the Corleone family is about to get killed or something like that.
Yeah.
I just feel like the buildup could have been a little bit better for him. The other thing is, I don't know if you noticed this, but yo, there's a couple scenes where there's like this baby crying loudly.
Yeah.
That was
That's Sonny's
yeah,
kid.
that
That's
makes
Sonny's
my ears hurt every time I hear I'm like, I'm watching it and I'm like, yo, whose baby is that? Like, could somebody like
Yeah,
put a bottle in that kid's mouth, man? That kid is going
they put a
nuts.
bottle.
There's like two scenes where the baby is screaming so loud. Like, I'm like, yo, I know I'm old now because the sound of a baby crying like that
Is annoying
makes my
me.
teeth hurt, man. Like, it's just this is a small thing.
My man said
I'm like,
makes
yo,
my
it was like
teeth
that.
hurt.
And then the last thing is
Oh
when they're
man.
in the restaurant and Salazzo and Michael are talking to each other and they switch to Italian, there's no
Oh
subtitles.
yeah.
I would have liked to
Yeah.
have seen the subtitles. I know people have gone back now and they've deciphered what they're saying, but it
Hmm.
was just odd to me that like that crucial
The
conversation,
crucials,
you
yeah.
just don't get it. So those are some of the small things that I didn't like about it.
Nah, I dig it, man. I'm with you on that.
All right. So let's jump into the questions. All right.
Every time I hear that, man, I think of that common Witch Code song,
Oh,
man.
with the Q-tip, it's the questions. It's the
Missions,
question. Yeah,
yeah.
it is. It is the questions. All right. All right.
Most
So I
stuff.
got three. I got five for you, man. Here's number one.
All
Okay.
right.
So now there's something that you said earlier that I thought about when you said like the idea of could you even make a film like this today? Could you put it out? Would people even allow these things to be said and people to be betrayed in this way? And it makes me think about this other question, which is, do you think the audiences of today have the endurance to sit in a theater for 3+ hours for this type of drama? And I know that, Avatar is like 3 hours and two, but
Yeah.
Avatar is also blasted flashing lights and blue people, and it's very entertaining to watch.
Right,
But do you
right.
think audiences of today could even sit through something at the length of The Godfather?
We did a movie that was approximately close to that. It was one of the dope movies that we did, Oppenheimer, and
Okay.
that was a long movie,
Was really
and a
long.
lot of people went and they loved it. It was critically
Very
acclaimed.
good
It
point.
did great numbers commercially. So I think, yeah, I'm going to give the benefit of the
Very
doubt
good
that
point.
the audience is sophisticated and that they can do that
Okay.
and they would do it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Do you think now? I'm gonna ask you a little of a bit different
Hmm.
question. Do you think that Netflix? The Irishman went straight to
Oh yeah,
Netflix.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
very long movie, but it's
yeah. It
also
is.
very mafia inspired, very like gangster movie
Yeah.
inspired. Do you think that part of the reason why that went straight to Netflix is because of the reasons that you were saying about how people would be too like judging of the movie through the lens of like the all the sensitivities of
Yeah.
2025 and is this toxic, whatever that means, toxic masculinity, or what
Yeah.
happened here, all that kind of stuff. Do you think that's why it went to Netflix?
I think it definitely played a major role because you're
Okay.
talking about the heart of cancer culture and
Yeah.
individuals being more sensitively and being more acutely aware of like those things that you know maybe older generations were like, yo, this is just commonplace. This is how we spoke. This is the way we thought. This is just the way it was back then.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely think that. I also think that during that period, a lot of stuff went straight to Netflix because you couldn't go to the
Yeah, that's
movie
right. That's true.
theater
Yeah.
because they wanted more access and in the hands or in the eyes of the viewer, et cetera, et cetera. But I also think here's something that would piggyback off of that. A movie like this being made now would probably be turned to a streaming service and made into an ongoing saga. Hence why you have Godfather of
King
Harlem,
of Tulsa.
Power,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
Tulsa, King of Tulsa, that
Yeah.
is, and even
Good point.
uh
Absolutely.
what's my man Damson Idra's
Oh, Snowfall,
Snowfall. Yeah.
Yellowstone, all those kind
So
of games.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Yeah.
because it created that avenue, that
Mhm.
space for them.
Yeah. Yes. Dang, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay. Yeah, it also just makes me think that now the series format also gives the time for the character development
Yeah, to develop. Yep.
that you really want to see in films too. All right.
Yeah, so like the things that we missed out, like backstories and things like that, they could fill in the blanks, give more layers and
Yeah.
character development.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you would see like if it was Godfather, you would see Barzini meet with Carlo. You
Yeah.
would see
Yep.
him
Yep.
talk with him and say, "Aren't you
Yeah. You
mad?
see,
Aren't you mad? Sonny beat you up in front of all them people in your
yeah,
neighborhood." It's a
and you
chance to
see
get him
like,
back.
oh, this is how Tessio was talking to whatever, whatever.
Barzini
This is
also, yeah,
how, yeah, So
yeah.
yeah, that would definitely
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, true. Good point. All right. Do you have a favorite character in the Corleone family? And if so, who and why?
Man, this is tough, yo. This is really hard for me because I really like all of the characters. But if there is one person, I'm gonna go with Vito.
Okay.
I like his old school tempered ways. He's very measured. He's
Hmm.
very calculated. Um, Yet he's very loving and nurturing.
Hmm.
He is about family. You know, there's something about him that feels familiar.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't. He. I think we all have some type of composite of him in our own respective families, like certain elements or whatever have you. And he just reminds me of like my grandfather, the
Mm.
way that he
He's
was
got a
very
grandfatherly
silent.
vibe. He does. He does. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he just like I used to fear my grandfather,
Hmm.
man. Like and he would never do anything to me, but it was like that healthy respect fear. You know what I'm saying? And when he spoke, you really did or be on some EF Hutton
Hmm.
type stuff. You listened.
Yeah.
And like he would do silly things like put the tomato in his mouth and like my grandfather would do like random
Right.
too, you know what I mean?
It's
Like
an old school thing to do. Yeah.
yeah,
It is.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
It
So
is. Yeah.
so yeah, man, I'm going with Vito, man. Shout out to my pop up, man.
Got it. Good. Good one. Good one. All right. So with the Michael Corleone character, what is Michael's greatest strength, and also what did you think was his greatest flaw?
I think his strength and his weakness were one and the same,
Okay.
man. This dude was able to detach very easily.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just be very laser focused. And I find that very prevalent in people who are quote unquote successful.
Mm.
Like they have an ability to see things, see all the angles, look at it without any type of emotion. Like they are very objective when it comes to their approach to things.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They're not led by emotion. But at the same time, that's the thing. Like Kobe reminds me of that.
Mm.
God rest his soul. You know what I mean? Like there's this now this emphasis on the Mamba mentality,
Yeah.
but yet I remember the scandals where individuals weren't messing with him.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, like people romanticize about Mike, but dudes didn't like Mike in the early 80s and they didn't like the whole gambling thing. And there's a lot of speculation
Hmm.
with that, and I think we tend to have hindsight when or romanticize hindsight about these things where we over glorify and oversimplify that. And I think Michael is a prime exact example in cinema of that very thing.
Okay. All right. So I got another question about Michael too. All
Uh,
right. So what is the moment where you feel like Michael abandons who he was trying to be to become like the Godfather? What's the moment in the film
oh,
where you think that happens?
one, I think he never had it when he sits there because like they like the Shakespearean quote, "Thou protest." too much. Thou doth protest too much. And when he's sitting there and he's like, "That's not me, Kay." Oh, yes, it
Oh,
is.
so you think
Oh,
so
yes,
for you was it was
yeah.
always in him.
It
It
was
was just gonna
always
come out at
present.
some point. Okay.
Yeah, I liken
That's a
it to
hot
my
take. Okay. All right.
I liken it to my theory about LeBron James. LeBron has never had a prime. Michael has never stopped being who he is. Michael, when he goes to the wedding, why would you go to a wedding that with people you don't want to be like, that you don't want to surround yourself with, to be compared to them, to be associated with them? Why would you introduce the lady that you have these feelings for to that? Why would you then double down on that and talk about family business? I thought you're not supposed to talk
He
about
did talk
family
about family
business.
business too.
You know what I'm
He did.
saying?
He did.
So an
He
outsider,
did broke. He did break
and
the rules. He
and
did.
you
He
try to
did. Yeah. He
rationalize the
did. You're right. He did
behavior.
break the rules. Yep.
Don't talk about my business, Kay.
Yeah.
All right, I give you this one time to talk about my business, and proceeds to lie to
Yeah,
her.
he did. Yeah, he did talk.
Don't even talk about
He
it then.
did tell her at the wedding. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Last question. Is The Godfather the story of Vito? Is it the story of Michael? Or is it the story of the title Godfather and what it means to have that role?
Mm, I think it's all of the above and then not even. I think this is the story of America.
Okay.
I think it's
Okay.
I think it's the story of how America sees itself as a global power and the policeman of the globe, but yet it's underhanded and does a lot of things that are contradictory and just not nice. To be very simplistic, it's
Not
not
nice.
nice. It's not nice for you to manipulate people. It is not nice of you to beat people up. It's not nice to
True.
extort people. It's not nice to rob, steal, kill, sell drugs, and then say, "Not my family. Don't do it to my family.
Mm,
We can do it to your family. Don't do it to my family."
there it is. There it is. All right. That's my questions, man. What you got for me?
Yeah, man. So got a few for you. Is the Corleone family truly united by love, or is it bound only by fear and control?
So I think it depends on where you are in the family. I think for Vito and his wife and their immediate, children and their grandchildren, all those things, it's a family, right? And it's
Mm,
like everybody comes and eats dinner together, everybody, we go to weddings. We do what families
hmm
do, right?
Yeah.
And I think the movie is intentional about showing you the dynamics where family has to interact with each other. You
Mm,
learn about Vito that Vito took Tom in because Tom was Sonny's
yeah.
friend, right? So
hmm
that it's like that idea of it being so close matters. And then later on, when Sonny tries to almost like try to pull a card on Tom, like, why are you
Yeah,
even
you're
talking
not
about
fan.
you're not his
Yeah.
family? He's like, no, hold on. Your dad was like a dad to me too, right? So the
Yeah, I'm
family part.
almost as much blood to you and Michael.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like really important to go through the movie. And even, Sonny, beating up Carlo for beating up his sister. That's like all family stuff. Even
hmm
Vito's death scene, Vito dies with his grandson. He didn't die
hmm
in the street. He didn't die in a
Nope.
shootout. He died playing with his grandson, right? Because
hmm
that's like all the family part. Now, the extension of the Corleone family that gets to Clemenza and all those other things, that's business and that's violence and that's fear and that's reverence and all those things. So I think it's like both of those, but it's almost like the family business. If the family business was, like I said, a hardware store, you would have the family business that was like this, and then the distributors and the marketers and all those things, the customers, they'd be a little bit outside of it, but they're still a
mm.
part of one integrated system.
Yeah, that's dope. How does Francis Ford Coppola use the Catholic imagery, especially in the baptism scene, to comment on moral hypocrisy in both religion and society?
I'm sure that the term Godfather existed before
Yeah.
these things were written. But I think the idea of what it means to be a godfather now is more
Mm,
influenced by this film than by anything else that has been in America since then. When you look at the word, Godfather's God, like God, and Father, these two things that are not only seen to be very prominent, very important, very powerful, but also very good. And
mm,
then you see how that role is applied to somebody who, as you said, is running a criminal enterprise the entire time, right? And at that last scene at the christening, where Michael has to pretend that he believes these things, these ethics and these morals, And while the realization is that he doesn't, and that in fact he's going the exact opposite way against it, is like what the movie is really saying about what does it mean to be the Godfather? Can you even do that and then be a moral and ethical person and show up at a christening for your nephew, who, by the way, you then kill his father the same day?
Yo, not
like
even a little
he
bit.
walks out there on the steps like, "Hey man, we're gonna come over to your house and we're gonna get you packed up to go Vic." No, dog, we're gonna get you. And by the way, Michael knows that he's going to kill Carlo like 2 months before he does it.
I guess Vegas is another term for in the grave.
Even with it, think about it, like even in that scene, there's a scene where him and Kay are in the car. Kay's like, "Hey, don't forget, we got to go to your, they want you to be the Godfather of the thing." And he's like, "Oh yeah, let me think about it." Because in his mind, he's like, "All right, first thing I got to do is I go straighten Mo Green out, get the family together, kill everybody, then kill Carlo." He's like got a list. Like, dude's probably got like a little pocket check off list. Like, he's like, and when he killed Carl, he should have pulled something out of his pocket and been like, just drew a line. I got everything. Because that's how he was, man. Michael's cold dude, man. He's a cold dude. Cold dude, man.
Oh, that's crazy, yo. Oh, that's crazy. In what ways does The Godfather present crime as a reflection of American capitalism rather than a rejection of it?
People say like business is warfare. And
Mm-hmm.
the whole idea of you have a market, you're trying to protect your market share, you want to
Mm,
prevent someone else from taking it over. The only difference is back in the day, you use muscle to do that. People still do that,
right,
right? But like
right.
bigger businesses now, modern corporations, they use lawsuits to do it. It's the same thing. I'm
Yeah,
going to figure out how to
just
protect my space by
mm,
fortifying it as much as possible, by building the government contracts and building the
yeah.
government connections. And I got all these lawyers and I got all these congressmen and I got all these people I can call, all these systems that you build to try to protect your business, right? Whatever that
Mm,
business is. And like you said, I mean, it's an allegory for capitalism, because that's what it really comes down to. What gets Vito shot and killed is because he doesn't want to deal drugs. That's what it
yes.
comes down to. Like, he doesn't want to do that business. And that's the thing, is that however the business expands, whatever expands into, if you decide not to go along with it, then you become a threat to it. And that's what happens with Vito. And that's why, like Tom says, even them trying to kill your dad was still about
Mm,
business.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of Vito, is Vito's sense of honor truly ethical, or is it merely a code of control dressed in moral language?
That's a good one. Um, I think that Vito's character is like a regular person, in the sense that I think as people, we all want to be a certain way. And
Mm,
sometimes we tell ourselves that we are that way.
mm.
But the truth is, our actions are actually contradictory to that. People are contradictions, right? We're all they say to be a human being is to be a contradiction, right? Like, we all want to be peaceful, but we yell at each other, right? We get cursing somebody in the car that you don't know if they cut you off, right? You people get fights in the parking lot outside the supermarket over some turkeys,
Yes.
right? Like, whatever the case may be. But we want to have those ideas. We want to have those ethics. A lot of those things, they come from religion. Religion tells us don't steal, don't
Yeah.
kill, don't lie, don't cheat.
Mm.
Guess what? Every human being has stolen, lied, cheated, something. We've
Yeah.
all done it, right? Why? Because we're trying to get to that stage. I think Vito's character, like every person, is trying to get to that stage. Does he think deep down inside that he's a moral man? No. I
Yeah.
don't think he's in a delusion, but I think he
Mm.
also is trying to figure out how to get his family to not be that way. Remember, his goal for he wanted Michael to be a senator.
And
He even
Governor
says, like, he
Corleone.
always says, like, I didn't want to be on the strings of people, and I didn't
Hmm.
want you to be that way too. But
Yeah.
what he
This was a
realizes is that by Michael becoming the Godfather, he's still now attached to the same BS that Vito's been trying
mm.
to get out of himself.
And Michael even tells him, "We'll get
We'll
out
get
of
we'll
it."
get there, Pop. Right. That's
Mm.
what they want. Nobody wants to be
Yeah.
like that. Just like no one wants to be a bad person. No one wants to be.
Mm.
No one's like, yeah, I'm bad. I'm a killer. Man, I beat people up in the parking lot over turkeys, man. Nobody wants to be that way, especially as you get older. You know, even if when you're young, you like being
Yeah.
wild and crazy. Yo, when you get older, you don't want to be crazy anymore.
No.
You open the door slowly to your own house, look outside, make sure is it cold outside? Like you want to be like a regular person, man. You don't worry about Vito's like in his 60s getting shot in the street, man. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't want to live like that. That's a
Mm-mm.
terrible life.
Oh man. So how does Kay Adams function as a moral and emotional counterpoint to Michael's descent into corruption?
Yeah, I like this question, man, because Kay is so first of all, like the movie kind of shows you that really Michael's first choice was Apollonia. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think he liked Kay. He always liked Kay because Kay was not like
Mm.
connected to the family. And
Yeah, yeah.
even like from a straight just how she looks, she doesn't
Yes.
look like the other Italian women in his
Mm-mm. Plain
family
Jane.
or the ones that you see at the wedding. Kay might be the only blonde woman in the whole thing. In like,
Yeah,
you know what I
she
mean? So
is.
she's like decidedly different. But then
Mm-hmm.
you also see like when he was in Corleone, then all of a sudden he met Apollonia. It was like
Yeah.
fire. Like, nah, this is what I really like. This is what I really wanted, some of that, right? And then when she goes away, he comes back. I think the reason why Michael marries Kay is because number one, Kay reminds him of what he said he was like
Mm,
before he decided to kill Salazzo and McCluskey and went to
I like that.
Corleone. She gives him the chance to be with someone who can still see him as a good person
Mm.
because everybody else around him now knows Michael is ruthless.
Yeah, he's a killer.
And they know that Michael is so ruthless that he will kill
Own family.
his sister's husband, and later that he will even kill his own brother because
Great
he
joke.
is so committed to this thing, 10 toes down, he does not care, right? But Kay can see him a little bit differently. I think he needs that.
Last but not least, does the film's enduring popularity say more about its artistic brilliance or about society's fascination with power and violence?
That's another good one too. Dang, it's like both, man. I mean, like, it's a great
Mm,
film. It's a great movie. We've talked about how many things it's influenced to this day. I mean,
mm,
2025, you got King of Tulsa, Godfather, Harlem,
mm-hmm.
you know, Raising Canaan, like all of these
Yeah.
things are extensions of The Godfather. Like The
Mm-hmm.
Godfather was the base of the tree. All these other shows and movies, all these
Yeah,
years,
they're
they're
branches.
branches of that. Like you cannot deny what this is, what this means for cinema. And at the same time, I think all good art reflects life, reflects reality.
Mm,
And this movie does. It reflects what people are willing to do to get power or to get more money. And a lot of times those things drive people to do criminal things or illegal things or unethical things.
mm,
And that happening, like everybody who's doing something to make money isn't out here shooting people, but some people are, lying on their taxes and doing
mm.
so stuff like that. Like it's all kinds of things
Yeah.
that people do to try to
Not us. Not us,
get money.
IRS, in
No, no,
case you're
no,
listening.
no, 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 no. What
We're
money? What
legit.
like if the Fed's listening, what money? but no, I got you. But yeah, but like no, that's the thing, and I think that's why it just resonates the way it is. Why it's so important now.
I dig it, man. All right, man. So then, since saying all that, what are you giving this, man? How many boxes is popcorn?
Two. No, I'm just like, I
You should see my
I did
face.
see your face. I did see your face. Nah, man, it's five. I mean, this is one of the greatest movies of all time, man. I mean, like we picked it for the 100th episode because of how
For a
good it
reason.
is. Like it's
Yeah.
like what I'm saying, we didn't pick like Splash or something like that. We picked The Godfather. Like, come on, man, you got to do this joint, man. 5 boxes.
Shout out to Tom Hanks and
Yo,
Daryl
shout right. I love that
Daryl
movie
Hannah.
too, but we ain't doing it for the 100th episode. If I would have said that, hey, Will, let's do Splash for the 100th episode, he'd be like, dog, Splash? That's what? Like, come on, man. You can't. Certain things, you have to be at a certain state. Come on, man. Imagine if I
I'm
would have said that.
co-signing that, yo. Oh, that was hilarious. Slash, I'm co-signing. I gotta use that, yo.
Splash. That's what you say. Could you imagine?
Yo. Oh,
Anyway,
oh,
all
that's
right.
brilliant.
So what you got on your hot takes, man?
Oh man. So my hot take is Godfather 2 is actually a better film.
A lot of people say
Um,
that. A lot of people
yeah,
say that.
and
Yeah.
look, man, it deepens the history, it complicates
It does.
things, it fleshes out the novel, no, excuse me, the novel in a way on the screen that like really just makes the saga hit home. Michael's descent into moral isolation, and then juxtaposing that with Vito's rise to power, and you're showing the mediation of a legacy being brought forth and how all of this originated. What Vito was like. Did they really struggle? The rags to riches
Yeah.
story,
Hmm.
the being inspired by the proverbial streets are paved with gold. Al Pacino's portrayal of Michael in that, even if you didn't think he could top this, it goes
I
even
think he's better in
further.
the second Godfather too. Yeah,
Yeah, like
absolutely.
he's on fire,
Yeah,
man. Like, and I just say that to say, like, this movie is
it
great,
is.
but I've never seen a movie until the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back that even took it to another height, another level. Like, how do you improve upon greatness?
Hmm.
Like, and that's what this movie did for me, and that's why that's my hot take. What do you got?
Yeah. Well, first of all, at some point we have to do Godfather 2. So at some
Oh,
point,
no question.
maybe for
Yeah, no.
200, maybe the 200th episode, we'll do
Yo,
Godfather
I'm
2.
with it.
We won't do the Godfather 3 for 300 though. But here's my here's my hot take. So as you know, and as a lot of people know in the movie world, Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas were very good friends, right? And
Hmm.
George Lucas actually helped inform some of the direction of some of the scenes, even
Yeah.
back to The Godfather. So my hot take is that George Lucas, like so many other directors, was also inspired by The Godfather. And his
Mm.
inspiration for The Godfather is the creation of the character of Anakin Skywalker. And if you
Wow.
look at it, don't look at it in terms of the episodes was a 4, 5, and 6, but consider
Yeah.
that in episodes 1 through 3, both Michael and Anakin Skywalker are outcasts. They're outcasts from the system that they're a part of. Michael starts off as an outcast from the family, the Corleones. Anakin starts off as an outcast from the Jedi Council. They
Mm.
both face embarrassment and disgrace in the circle of the advisors. Remember, for Michael, when he talks
Mm.
about wanting to kill McCluskey and Silazzo, his brother's like, everybody laughs. They laugh like, "No, you're not gonna do it. You can't do that." For
Hmm.
Anakin, it's standing in the circle with all the Jedi Council and being told he can be a master, but he can't be on the council.
Yeah.
They both lose a woman
No,
that
no, no. You can be on the council, but you can't have the rank of
of yeah, you
master.
mean a council we can't. Yeah, thank you. Then they both lose a woman that they love based on their decisions. Michael loses Apollonia.
No.
Anakin loses
God,
Padme. They're
that's
both they're
tough.
both war heroes. Michael fights in the military. Anakin fights for the Republic. They both lose a man to them that was like a brother, and they are responsible for the death of that person. Michael does it to Fredo. Anakin does it to Obi-Wan. In the end, they both take on a title that announces their corruption. Michael becomes Godfather, Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
Vader.
So my hot take is that George Lucas, like so many other people, was inspired so much by this movie that the creation of the character of Anakin Skywalker and his journey mirrors what you see Michael happen to Michael Corleone through the course of The Godfather and The Godfather
And this is why CJ is brilliant.
Part 2.
I would have
Oh,
never,
let
ever.
me. You'll hear
Wow.
the Cash App thing hit your joint in a second for saying that, man. I appreciate that. But look, before we wrap it up though, man, yo,
Uh,
100 episodes, man. Yo, Mr. Well, I want to give you some flowers for this journey, man. I remember when we started talking about just doing a movie podcast because we like movies. I think we said, let's just try to get to 100. If we can get to
hmm
100, we'll be doing something great. We've
hmm
done something great. And I could not have done something great without you, without your help, without your assistance. The consistency that it shows to show up every week to do this, a lot of people can't. I don't know anybody else who could. And you've done it. And yo, I appreciate this journey with Sticky Floors with you. Everybody who's listening, you know that, this is not always easy, man, but we make it happen. We appreciate all the people that have listened in to get us to these 100 episodes. Thank you.
I appreciate that, CJ. And CJ knows I'm not one to normally accept these things.
I know.
I shy
I know.
away from this stuff.
I know.
But I'm not even gonna like be like, oh, well, you too,
I
because it's something I would normally do. I'm just gonna say thank you.
Thank you.
Let's wrap up the
There it
show.
is, man. So look, so this that completes our review of The Godfather. Hey, listen, if you enjoy this journey, please hit the subscribe button so you can get the rest of our drops as they come out. We're gonna take a couple weeks off as we usually do after we finish 11 episodes, and we will be back with season 10 of the Sticky Floors podcast. Please check us out. We are on Spotify podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on YouTube podcasts. Hey, listen, we want subscribers. So if you listen to this today, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, hit that subscribe button so you get the drops. We're also on Threads. We're also on Facebook where you can continue the conversation with us. And we'll see you again soon. Peace.